जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी, गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन, यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन, यामुना तीरावनचारी, यामुना तीरावनचारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जयो विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्रशत श्री श्रीमद् अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की। जयो विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्रशत श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। So, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 18th chapter, text number 9. परानुशक्तं तपनीयोपकल्पं महागदं काञ्चनचित्रदंशं मर्माण्यभीक्ष्णं प्रचण्डमन्यो प्रहसंस्तं बभासे। परानुशक्तं तपनीयोपकल्पं महागदं काञ्चनचित्रदंशं मर्माण्यभीक्ष्णं प्रतुदन्तं दुरुक्तैः प्रचण्डमन्यो प्रहसंस्तं बभासे। परानुशक्तं तपनीयोपकल्पं महागदं काञ्चनचित्रदंशम् मर्माण्यभीक्ष्णं प्रतुदन्तं प्रचण्डमन्युप्रहसंस्तम्भभासे परानुसक्तं तपनीयोपकल्पम् महागदं काञ्चनचित्रदंशम् मर्माण्यभीक्ष्णं प्रतुदन्तं प्रचण्डमन्योप्रहसंस्तम्भभासे. What word meaning? Para from behind. Anusaktam who followed very closely. Upaniya upakalpam. Sorry, tapaniya upakalpam. Who had a considerable amount of gold ornaments. Mahagadam with a great mace. Kanchana golden. Chitra beautiful. Damsham armor. Marmani the core of the heart. Abhikshnam constantly. Pratudantam piercing. Durukter by abusive words. Prachanda terrible. Manyuhu anger. Prahasan laughing. Tam to him. Babase he said. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charana Arvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of ISKCON. The demon who had a wealth of ornaments, bangles, and beautiful golden armor on his body chased the Lord from behind with a great mace. The Lord tolerated him his piercing ill words, but in order to reply to him, he expressed his terrible anger. Purport. The Lord could have chastised the demon immediately while the demon was deriding the Lord with ill words, but the Lord tolerated him to please the demigods and to show that they should not be afraid of demons while discharging their duties. Therefore, his toleration was displayed mainly to drive away the fears of the demigods, who should know that the Lord is always present to protect them. The demon's derision of the Lord was just like the barking of dogs. The Lord did not care about it, since he was doing his own work in delivering the earth from the midst of the water. Materialistic demons always possess large amounts of gold in various shapes, and they think that a large amount of gold, physical strength, and popularity can save them from the wrath of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरोभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we are discussing the section where Lord Varaha and Hiranyaksha are fighting. Of course, still the fight has not begun in this yet, but we can see that Hiranyaksha especially is offering lot of abusive words towards the Lord. So in various uh, verses previous to this verse, we have discussed so many things. How Hiranyaksha is blaspheming the Lord. So generally, demons they are always uh, expert in doing this thing. Hmm. So naturally, just like devotees naturally glorify the Lord, demons they naturally rebuke the Lord. They offend him by offering very bad words, which actually uh, it applies to them only mostly. So there is a term called Atmavan Manyate Jagat. There is a phrase. So that means uh, whatever we think about ourselves, we think that everyone is subject to that. So, so they are projecting their own qualities on the Lord, by chastising the Lord, by calling him different ill names. So I'm just remembering Shishupal. So he gave many bad words to Krishna, and one of them was that you don't have proper varna. So so because Lord in childhood he took care of cows, and then later he was a kshatriya. Of course, Lord can do anything, although he is not part of varnashrama. So Lord is not limited by anything. So we can see that how Lord can uh, put such big planets float in the sky. Then what big thing is for the Lord to uh, personally kill some demon, by his energy. So it is very easy for the Lord to do such thing. And we see as a kshatriya, Lord, he did fight. mm, Although in the on the battlefield of Kurukshetra he didn't fight, and later he still, to protect his devotee Arjuna, he still broke his promise. So we can see Lord, he can act as a ideal kshatriya and an ideal vaishya. He can act as he wishes. Hmm. So although he is not part of the varnashrama dharma, but still Shishupala, he is blaspheming the Lord. So it applies to him only. So he doesn't have proper varna. And yeah, and mainly the same point Prabhupada is explaining what was discussed. This is the ninth verse. What was discussed in eighth verse. Hmm. So that the Lord is exhibiting his quality of tolerance, sahanshilta. So we can see when some bad words are spoken to anyone, that person won't tolerate it. It's not easy to tolerate. So, so especially for a kshatriya, if some bad words is given, then it is as good. It is more worse than death. So they will not be able to tolerate. But the Lord is able to very easily tolerate. And the purpose of toleration is manifold. Ultimately, Lord wants to show everyone how to tolerate. We can see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, he gave the instruction Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtanaya Sadahari. So uh, Trinadapi Sunichena, we have to be like a blade of grass. We can see a blade of grass when someone steps on it. So it doesn't uh, retaliate. So it is humble, and a tree. Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnunam. More tolerant than a tree. Tree when it is cut, it tolerates. So we can see how tolerance we have to learn from the tree. And Lord, as it is told about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, apane achari Prabhu jivera sikhai. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, uh, he showed this by his own example, by his humility and by his tolerance. So, various occasions he exhibited humility, like in front of the Mayavadi scholars, he was sitting in a place where it was dirty, and then he was very tolerant also. For preaching, he tolerated so many things. We can see that how Lord, in previous incarnations, he killed them. Lord killed Shishupala, and Lord, uh, in the form of Varaha, killed Hiranyaksha, and in the form of Narsimha, killed Hiranyakashipu. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he purifies their bad qualities, as in the case of Jay and Vijay. Sorry, Ka- Kada, Madhai and Jagai. So, just like we know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance is a hidden avatara, so similarly, they have taken the fourth birth. Of course, we see that it is told three births, but in the fourth birth, they appeared as Jagai and Madai. So Lord, He delivered them. So that means the demonic quality, Lord, even by killing them, He purifies them. But here we can see Lord tolerated, and He made them into devotees. So we can see how Lord tolerates in different avatars. He teaches by his own example. And in this case, especially, we have discussed in the eighth verse that how Lord tolerated. Yeah, there two things are come that it's very interesting. One who is not fearful. Two kinds of people Prabhupada explains there. One who performs his duties, so he is not fearful, and one who is very powerful is not fearful. So especially the second applies to the Lord. So first, Lord enacts his duties to set an example, although he is not required to follow any duties. He is beyond all duties. But the second thing, that for a powerful man there is no question of fear. So Lord, while the demon is chastising continuously, Lord, without any fear, he did his duty of lifting the planet Earth from the depths of the Garbhodaka ocean. So we can see if some ordinary person, he would have got frightened, he would have got scared, while he would not have been able to do the task of lifting the earth. But the Lord, he is because he is powerful, he is the source of all power. He could very easily tolerate it. And the first thing, especially, that a dutiful person doesn't have to fear. So that Lord wants to show for the demigods. So although the demigods are also quite powerful, but in the front of the power of Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, they were very small, and they were afraid, as is evident from the previous verses of this shloka, that how demigods had hidden from the demons. So they were very clearly fearful. So the Lord wanted to show, if you are tell them, if you are doing your duties, you don't have to fear. And another point was that the Lord wanted to show that ultimately the Lord will protect them. So we can see. So here it's therefore his toleration was displayed mainly to drive away the fears of the demigods, who should know that the Lord is always present to protect them. So by enacting this pastime of lifting the earth and bringing it to the surface of the sorry, yeah, bringing the it to the surface of the ocean, so the Lord showed that he is capable of doing that activity. He showed his chivalrous nature. So, although the demon told the Lord that you are running away from fight, but the Lord didn't mind it. Just like a powerful elephant, if it is going, if the dogs are barking from behind, then the elephant is not frightened by that. So it will just walk. It will not even care for the barking of the dogs. So similarly, in this case, Lord Varaha, so he kept on doing his duty. So in this way, we can see that demigods who always observe the activities of the Lord. It is told, uh, Sada Pashanti Surayah. Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashanti Surayah. So especially we can see that generally children they keep observing the uh, elderly members, and they do whatever the seniors do, or the parents what they do, the teachers what they do. So similarly, the demigods they are always observing the Lord. So one thing is they are on this occasion they are very frightened that Hiranyaksha will kill them, he will disturb them. So they are very eager to know what will happen at this moment. What would happen? So sometimes I have heard that sometimes when the Lord apparently allows the demon to show its to show his strength, then the demigods they get frightened. Oh, what is going to happen? Is the Lord going to lose? The analogy is given just like sometimes the cat, although we know that always it will merge victorious over the rat. Ultimately, the cat, yeah, it is superior in strength than the cat, than the rat. But still, the cat sometimes plays around, and allows the rat to uh, run or whatever. So similarly, in this case of Hiranyaksha also, it is like that. So the Lord is playing around with the demon, but very easily, very effortlessly, he will kill the demon, as we will see in the upcoming verses. So the Lord always wants to set an example to show the subordinates. So the demons who are fearful, generally the demigods who are fearful, we know that demigods also have material desire. So fear comes from material desire. So, so karma, anger comes from material desire, of course. So fear also comes from material desire only. So because we want to satisfy our senses as much as possible, and then either you will satisfy your desire, or you will uh, go on enjoying until your desires are frustrated. So if you satisfy your desire also, your demands are more. So once your demands are more means, uh, we know that the body won't cope up. So we will get fear also. So, so demigods generally, because they have material desires, they are not completely dependent on the Lord. So that is the reason they are fearful. So the Lord wanted to show that they should not be fearful. And uh, also another point is, hmm, here we see that the demon had different golden ornaments. Hmm. So many terms are there. Uh, Tapaniyopakalpam. So this means he had a considerable amount of gold. And then Kanchana Chitra Damsham. His armor was made up of gold. Uh, yeah. So basically, here, although bangles are not mentioned, but in the purport, in the translation, Prabhupada writes bangles. So in a previous verse, it is told that he had wore nupurs of gold also. So we can see in both these terms, the two brothers, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, Hiranya is common, the gold. So generally, the demons, because they have a lot of desires to be fulfilled, so they have a lot of wealth. Wealth previously was known to be as gold and grains. So especially, ultimately, grains are the wealth. So we know that Gavayo Dhanavan, Dhanyo Dhanavan. But gold is also wealth. Gold is wealth because it is very precious and very costly metal, and generally that was the means of exchange previously, before barter. Of course, traditionally barter was there. Then gold standardization came. So especially when Parikshit Maharaj chastised the demon Kali. So that time, what happened? Gold standardization came because the personality of Kali, he asked for a space, for a place to stay. So, so we can see that the Parikshit Maharaj also very tolerant. So generally, yeah, Kshatriyas one tolerant is if someone surrenders to them, they forgive him. So that is also known of Kshatriyas. So because Kali surrendered to Parikshit Maharaj, so he once you have the quality of tolerance, then forgiveness also will come. So then he could forgive uh, Kali personality, and he allowed him a place to stay in his kingdom. Of course, he told you should not stay wherever these four things are done. First, he told like this, where the meat eating is done, intoxication, gambling, illicit sex. But then, when he found that these things were not done only in the kingdom of Parikshit, then Kali came and he told there is no space. Then Parikshit Maharaj told, okay, you stay in gold, wherever there is gold. So gold is called as yellow stool also. Hmm. So generally, gold is desired by materialistic people. Everyone desires gold, but spiritual people they know that with gold come all the bad qualities. So so especially with gold, one can purchase anything one wants to enjoy. So one has the purchasing quality power. So in Bhagavad Gita, we see that two qualities are very bad for a spiritualist. So bhoga and Aishwarya. Hmm. So enjoying and Aishwarya means wealth. So of course bhoga means it translates into uh, sex, and Aishwarya means it translates into gold. So we can see that in Hiranyakashipu both these terms are there. So Hiranya means gold, the second one, and Kashipu means soft bed. Bed means they enjoy sex. So in this way, we can see, and with gold you can purchase sex also. So ultimately, gold is the source of sense enjoyment also in the material world. So materialistic people they want to collect lot of gold. We can see Ravana, and we can see Hiranyakashipu, and yeah. So whoever is attached to gold, we can see that all the bad qualities also will come in him unless and until he will engage that in the service of Krishna. So we can see demons always they are expert in exploiting the resource of the material world. So we can that verse is that Purusha Prakriti Stohi Bhumte Prakriti Jan Gunan. Hmm. So the living entity, although he is a servant of Krishna, he thinks that he is the enjoyer. So the word Purusha is also used to refer to the living entity. Prakriti stoi, he is situated in the Prakriti, bhungte Prakriti jan gunan. So he enjoys the material energy. So this is the summit of material enjoyment, keeping lot of gold. So for that they exploit the material nature. So we can see to remove gold from the earth, lot of mining has to be done. So gold is not easy to be removed. So you have to go on digging the earth. Mm. So this will exploit the Mother Earth. So nowadays, everything, this city life is especially, is completely based on exploiting the material nature or exploiting mother. So we can see just staying in the city means we are exploiting the material nature because if you have to live, so you have to stay in a house which is produced by drilling the mountains. Uh, and then in different ways, uh, yeah, cement also is done cement, and then the valu, the sand. So this is also ugra karma. So people are uh, absorbed, sorry, engaged in such things which are demonic. So demons, they will exploit the resources of the material world for their own pleasure. So Hiranyakashipu trained his younger brother Hiranyaksha in this way. uh, so we can see that karanam guna sangosya sadasadyoni janmashu. For that they keep on taking birth again and again, and they are repeatedly killed. So once we have desire, means we have to take birth based on the desire, and in different uh, forms, in different species, and will be repeatedly killed. So although demons, they think that by, like Prabhupada says here, by thinking that by having lots of gold, by having physical strength and popularity, they can think that they can protect themselves from the wrath of Krishna. So we know that Krishna, for the demons or for the non-devotees, he appears as death. So Mrityu Sarva Haras Chaham. So however strong a demon may be, so he is subject to death. So no one can avoid from the miseries of death. It is told as sure as death. So Lord, by killing Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, he wanted to show that no matter how powerful a demon is, so he will be killed. He will not be able to stay more than his destined uh, stay in this body. So we can see Prabhupada, especially, he used to again and again quote his some person from Allahabad whom Prabhupada knew, and who uh, was begging for 4 years from the doctor. So the doctor said not 4 years, not even 4 minutes. So we can see that. So whatever uh, time we have to spend in the body, we will spend, and then we will be kicked out from this body. So we'll be forced to leave the body. Uh, so it is told that one has to prepare for death before it comes. So one has to become detached. Yeah. Nonetheless, we can see here Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. So they didn't understand this. So demons, they are always busy in enjoying. So they didn't understand, and they were finally killed. So gold cannot kill. Gold cannot save us. Gold means, generally people may think that now it's paper money. So after uh, gold standardization was removed, so people started, government started printing lot of paper money. So paper money is more demonic. So because of many reasons, uh, main reason is that gold is limited in the earth. So uh, when you are doing trade with gold, or when you are doing exchange with gold, at least you will be restricted, you will be regulated by the amount of gold which is available. You can't go on producing gold. Of course there is a technique, but it is not generally done. Maybe it's not cannot be done in huge quantities also. There's an alchemy, there is an technique, but still you can't produce gold as you can produce paper very easily. Paper is so cheap. So actually the gold, when we are giving for some object, that gold in itself has the value, but on paper they artificially write, I promise to pay the bearer the sum of this much rupees. So paper, we can see that the value goes on reducing. And yeah, gold is ultimately gold. And by paper money, what happens, people can, have this opportunity to do industrialization and all. Because for industrialization, if you just manufacture food products, no one will purchase. Hmm. So people, they don't have the purchasing power, so they have to produce so many things which are not required in the society. and for this purpose, you have to bring all the people, because if you have to run an industrial society, people have to work hard for producing unnecessary things. So you have to bring them to the city, and when you bring them to the city, you have to give them all facility, because they will not have time to fetch water from the well, to do different things. They have to be whole day they have to be at the workplace. So you have to do construct dams, and you have to uh, facilitate people so that they can come in the cities and work. Hmm. But this all leads to more and more exploitation of the material earth, and people will suffer basically from the wrath of the supreme personality of Godhead. Devi Esha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duritya Mame Vaye Prapadyante Maya Mesham Tarantite. So people, when they find their own means to overcome the miseries of this material world, so what will happen is, so Maya Devi, Durga Devi, with her Trishul, she will give threefold miseries. So she will give trouble to the living entities. So whatever solution we find with our brain, so that is material, and material solutions will cause only more problems. So they will not solve the problems. So in this way, we can see that materialistic people, they will suffer more and more by going away from material nature, from the Mother Earth. Hmm. So yeah, we can see generally people are not aware how much they are suffering. Hmm. Uh, Recently, it people know that there is lot of use of fertilizers and pesticides. So people are switching to at least they are switching to organic food. Hmm. So actually, they should come to the point of growing their own food, because when you are dependent on another's mercy, then you will suffer. So people, in the name of organic, they will give poultry things. Basically, the natural manure has to be used to grow uh, vegetables, but they will use the refuse of the remnants of poultry farms and all, and that will be more bad for the people. So the news came out that the vegetables which were tested, so they were having lot of lead content. So brinjal had 20 times more content than the lead, and etc. So we can see that how much people are suffering because of urbanization. So this is, and then yeah, someone sent that, I spoke to Priyagun Pro. Someone sent that message to Priyagun Pro, that video or whatever, and Priyagun Pro replied, "This is just the tip of the iceberg." Hmm. So we don't know what all is happening. And uh, the result is that people will die early. So they will not save themselves from death, so by going away from material nature. So yeah, we can see that. And another thing is, especially through this paper money, people are encouraged to do sinful activities. So whenever you get money, that means you can purchase sense gratification. You can purchase meat eating, intoxication, gambling, illicit sex. So generally, previously also these things were there, but not much. And everyone couldn't afford to do these things. So maybe those who were fabulously rich, they only were able to do that. But in present, and still there would be less opportunities. But when you introduce this money, paper money, then what happens? Without any effort, you can afford these things. So generally, it's also told that if you have to be a meat eater, then you may have to kill the animal also. But without killing also, you just have to go to the restaurant, you just have to pay money and they will give you. So it has become very easy. Paper money has especially increased these sinful activities. uh, yeah. So in mass scale, yeah, it cannot be done otherwise. So because of this technology, so people have freezing technology, they have transport technology. So all this is facilitating killing of animals in a uh, big way, in on a mass scale. So slaughterhouses. So slaughterhouses were not there before, but now since the purchasing power has increased, so people have started eating meat. So I don't know how many different states have different percentage, but sometimes it's also told that 90% of the population is eating meat nowadays. So we don't know how many. So we can see, and illicit sex also has increased. So, so this is all because of purchasing power increased because of this paper money. So this can stop, actually stop only if the paper money is removed. Only if people revert back to either gold standardization or barter system. So until then, it is very difficult uh, because of paper money. Then you don't follow dharma also. People take to jobs and all, and then the traditional occupations are removed. uh, then people they will be forced to work for such people, who run slaughterhouses and all. Of course they always have the opportunity to do farming and all, but they, they will have a lot of challenges and people will not be able to tolerate the difficulties involved there. So the only solution is that what Prabhupada gave, the farm communities option. So that is the only solution if people want to save themselves from this society. Hmm. So at least, yeah, sincere people they should try not to take jobs and somehow manage their lives so that they will be remain away from the uh, ill effects of this age of Kali. And yeah, another point is that toleration is not easy also. So, but we can learn to tolerate if we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So, in that verse of third canto of third verse of Shikshastakam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained that one who is able to tolerate and one who is humble, he can chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So another way is that by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra also we'll be able to develop tolerance. Just like Lord has so much tolerance. So by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra we come in touch with Lord, and it is the assurance of Lord that Iha haite sarva siddhi hoibe sabar. So just by chanting we will attain all perfection. So, yeah, by chanting basically, we'll be able to develop the quality of tolerance. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, any comments? Can, no comments. So, another point is, as remembering is Dehapatya Kalatradishu Atma Seneshwasat Sapi Tesham Pramatta Nidanam Pashan Apina Pashati. So this verse also is telling that everyone sees that people are dying. That means they have seen that their parents, their grandparents have died. Especially they have seen that grandparents and parents also. But still they will think that death will not come to us. And the most bad part of this is that they will rely on their body, they'll rely on their relatives to save themselves from death. But they are also subject to death. Hmm. So here, physical strength is one thing which people think, if I have this, I can protect myself from death. But we can see they have become so many strong people. So we know that the famous boxer, so in his case, he also was humiliated later when he was not able to lift a cup of tea. And Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha also we saw, they were also killed. So physical strength cannot help us. Hmm. So Rakhe Krishna Mare Krishna Rakhe Ke. Krishna's protection only can help us. So especially once in Japan or someplace, Prabhupada was with his disciples and there was sound. They were practicing kung fu or something or karate. They're making sound. Prabhupada said they think that this sound will help them from death. Hmm. So, but no, death will. Krishna will, yeah, that basically cannot help them. If they surrender to Krishna, then Krishna will help them. Hmm. So like that. Hmm. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam.